Hey guys and girls, Nathan Birch here, and today I'm here to talk to you about the importance of having a foundation property portfolio so you can go and do cool stuff in your life. And what is a foundation portfolio? If you don't know what it is, go back and watch some other YouTube videos on this channel because you'll find out more about it there. The foundations of having a property portfolio is imperative to your success. If you build a house on dirt with no foundations on it, the brick's going to crack, it's going to fall down, you're going to end up like Miss Piggy where the house tumbled all down, or whatever the kid's comical story was. The fact of it is that having a foundation property portfolio is the basis of what is going to build your success. People say to me, Nathan, I've got 10 properties, what do I do now? Or how do I move on to the next step? Or what is the next purpose of it, or whatnot? Here are a few examples of how I've turned my foundation property portfolio into being, a benefit to my life. Foundation property portfolio being the first, say, 10 properties, 20 properties. What does that do? So let's say you've got 10 properties you bought for 200 grand and they've just gone up to 300 grand. So you've got 10 times 200 grand, which is 2 million, turned from 10 times to 300 grand, which is 3 million. There's $1 million fat in that. 80% of that, if you've got a loan on it, there's $800,000. What could you do with $800,000, you ask? Well, you could go and buy a property, renovate it and sell it, make 100 grand, do that once a year. You've just got yourself out of the workforce and you have to do a couple of hours work to make that happen. You could use 800 grand as a deposit for a shopping centre, a unit complex or whatever. There you go, you've got a positive cash flow stream. You can pull out $200,000 for example, and say you've got a loan of $200,000 at a 5% interest rate. That is about $192 per week off the top of my head. What could you do with 200 grand? You could go buy yourself a Ferrari. People sit there and say, I wish I could have a Ferrari when I win the lotto. Well, the fact that a helicopter's going to come along and drop cash on your house is, it's pretty, I haven't seen it happen too often. So I don't know anyone that's ever won lotto. So the reality is you need to take action to get yourself into that position. If you want to buy a Ferrari for 200 grand, it's going to cost you $192 per week. If you had 10 houses, 10 units, 10 properties, whatever, and you bump the rents up on 10 properties by $20 per week, that's going to give you $200 a week better cash flow. And for $200 a week better cash flow, you can go buy yourself a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or whatever car you want to buy, or you can go and do whatever you want. Having the foundations there in your property portfolio gives you options. It's not all about debt. You don't want to be too highly leveraged and you don't want to be too low leveraged. So for me personally, when I first started investing, I've got every little bit of debt that I could get my hands onto to buy the next property in my accumulation phase, to buy the next property that's going to go up in value. And the people around, if people are sitting there in 2015 saying that you can't do stuff, in 2003, 2004, 2005, through the GFC, like the GFC, people were scared of their jobs. In the GFC, I quit my job and said, fuck this. I've got better things to do with my time. I can make more money than sitting here at my desk and working for you every day of the week and being pissed off and annoyed. The fact is having those foundations laid correctly gives you those options. For me personally, building that initial part of my portfolio did take on debt. People said you're going to go bankrupt, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. The fact is that each one of those properties that I purchased at the time were, good cash flow. They weren't all positive cash flow. They were slightly negative, neutral, whatever the case might be. If you've got 10 properties that are costing you $20, $30 per week, that's $200 to $300 per week that you're going to be negative cash flow. That's fine, because if you bump those rents up by $20 this year, that goes to neutral. Then next year they go up $10, $20, that goes to positive. And you compound $20 per week times 5 years, that's $100 a week. Times by 10, that's $1,000 a week. That's 50 grand a year. You've just gotten yourself out of the workforce. Having that accumulation phase gets you there quicker, but you don't want to keep expanding on it. So if I look at my property portfolio and see the properties that I bought a decade ago in Mount Druitt, for example, that I bought for $130,000, I still owe $110,000 or $120,000 on them. But the difference is today those things are worth $500,000. The fact of it is that if I want to go back and pull out the equity or whatever, it buys me options to go and do other things that are cool. So having the foundation property portfolio set gives you options to go and do different things, whether it be buy your dream house, buy a mansion, buy cool cars, go and take your kids to school in the morning and not have to go and work every morning, and you get to see your children growing up. Letting your spouse not have to go back to work after having children. Or you're letting your spouse go to work and you have time off, not have to go back to work after she has the children. The fact is it buys you options, and you need to have foundations there that are strongly set before building anything on top of it. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned some more, and we'll catch up soon. Have an awesome day.